Parent advisory. This episode of Harlots of Spooktalk contains strong language, graphic descriptions, and disturbing subject matter, including violence and murder. Listener discretion is strongly advised. This content is for entertainment purposes only. Any true crime information discussed is publicly available online. Now, there are crimes that shock the world, and then there are crimes so dark, so calculated, they seem almost impossible to comprehend. Tonight, we're stepping into one of the most horrifying cases in modern history, the story of Fred West and Rose West, a couple whose home became a house of unmanageable horror and terror, where evil didn't visit, it lived there.
What makes this case even more disturbing is how long it went unnoticed. Behind closed doors in what appeared to be an ordinary home, unspeakable acts were carried out. Victims were silenced, hidden, buried underneath layers of secrecy, manipulation, and fear.
Places like this, they carry weight. Energy just doesn't disappear on its own. Trauma leaves an imprint, and when you look at a case like this, you have to wonder what kind of darkness grows when it's fed for years, unchecked and unseen.
This isn't just a story about murder, it's a story about control, about cruelty, and about the terrifying reality that monsters don't always hide in shadows. Sometimes they build a life right in front of everyone, and no one sees the truth until it's far too late. Now, sponsor break. This episode is sponsored by Liqueur, gummies that help prevent hangovers. Don't let a rough morning ruin your vibe. Liqueur has you covered. Get 20% off using our promo code HOST, HOST. The link is down below. Please check it out.
Tonight, we're uncovering the timeline, the victims, and the investigation that finally brought the truth to light.
And be warned, some stories stay with you long after they're told.
And this is one of them.
Welcome to Harlots of Spooktalk, True Crime Fridays.
Oh, you think you got away?
So, Fred West, let's get into it. Frederick Walter Stephen West, September 29th, 1941 is when he was born. What zodiac sign is that?
I don't
not gonna
know.
name any signs for you. Anyways, on to it. He was an English serial killer and and he committed at least 12 murders between 1967 and 1987 in Gloucester, England, the majority with his second wife, Rose West.
The victims were girls and young women. At least 8 of the murders involved the West's sexual gratification, including the R word, bondage, torture, and mutilation. The victims' bodies were typically buried in the cellar or garden of the West residence in Gloucestershire, which became known as the House of Horrors. Fred is known to have committed at least 2 murders on his own. Rose is known to have murdered Fred's stepdaughter, Charmaine. The couple were arrested and charged in 1994.
Fred fatally offed himself.
Excavated.
Sure. Asphyxiated. There you go. Himself while detained on remand at HM Prison, Birmingham on January 1st, 1995, at which time he and Rose were jointly charged with 9 murders, and he was 3 further and he with 3 further murders, so he had more than just the
Right.
9. Yeah. In November of 1995, Rose was convicted of 10 murders and sentenced to 10 life terms with a whole life order. which is
No.
pretty much like a whole like
Yeah.
life sentence on top of the multiple other 10 sentences
Yeah.
just for
So basically, in the
non-British people.
afterlife, he still has to serve a full term of his afterlife, and then when he's reincarnated, he'll be they'll find him and he'll be back in prison again. So no matter where he goes,
The catacombs.
he will continue to just be it. Don't worry about him. He's not out nowhere.
He's in the catacombs.
Not to be dramatic. But anyway, so West guy, this
Mhm.
dude was born, like I told you. He was this is kind of his childhood, just to kind of go into it. I really like to know what makes people tick. So again, he was born September 29th, 1941 at Biggerton Cottage. That's a much miracle Hertfordshire. I know we just kind of went over this. I'm sorry. So the first surviving child of Walter Stephen West, 1914 to 1992, and Daisy Hannah Hill, 1922 to 1968. Fred was from a poor family of farm workers. They were close knit and mutually, like, just very protective of each other. His dad was like a big disciplinarian, and his mom was like overprotective. So she could imagine.
In 1946, the family moved to Moore Court Cottage, a semi-detached building adjacent to the Moore Court farm on the outskirts of Much Markle, where Fred's father worked as a milking herdsman and harvest hand. The cottage had no electricity and was heated by a log fire. By 1951, Fred's mother had given birth to 8 children,
Oh, holy crap, girl.
Sweet.
6 of whom survived. Fred was always his mother's favorite. He was seen as a mother's boy and relied mostly on his siblings for companionship.
He's a mama's boy. Oh, wait. Okay. Trigger alert. Sorry. Okay. Um anyways, that's another story for another time. The West children were all expected to perform assigned chores and seasonal work. The 3 girls picked hops and strawberries. Oh, okay. And the 3 boys harvested wheat and hunted rabbits. Ooh, like rabbit stews. The necessity of working to earn a living and to survive instilled a strong work ethic in Fred, who also developed a lifelong habit of petty theft. Bum, bum, bum.
That's pretty typical too, with but we'll get into that in a minute. But classmates later recalled Fred as being very scruffy, dim, lethargic, and usually in trouble. So, although barely numerate and displaying the literacy level of a 7-year-old, he displayed an aptitude for woodwork and artwork. He left school with no qualifications in December of 1956 at the age of 15, initially working alongside his father as a laborer both in the farm and neighboring farms.
Fred later claimed that he had been essayed by his mother at the age of 12, that he had engaged in acts of bestiality in his early teens, and that his belief that incest was normal stemmed from his father's incest with Fred's sisters. Fred's youngest brother, Douglas, dismissed these claims as fantasy.
Okay, hold up.
Yeah, you heard that.
Hold up, wait a minute.
I heard that right.
But his brother said it didn't happen.
Yeah,
Well,
okay,
of course, Mom
so.
was gonna say that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know.
Anyways, whatever.
It would explain a lot of this, but okay.
Well, what he does behind, what happened behind closed doors, you never know.
That's true.
That's true. And by 1957, Fred and his brother John frequently socialized at a youth club in nearby Ledbury, where his distinct,
Guttural.
guttural something accent marked his him as a country bumpkin. Oh my gosh, that's where I get that name from. That's so cool. Ah,
Dude.
my British background. Okay, guys. He aggressively pestered women and girls whom he objectified as sources of pleasure to be used as he saw fit and would abruptly approach and fondle them. When a girl accepted his advances, she would find his performance unsatisfying, as his primary objective was his own gratification. What a sicko. Runs in his blood, though, I guess. Like father, like son.
So,
Sorry.
age
No,
17,
you're good.
Fred, huh?
I said, you're good.
Uh, I'm just like, ooh. So, at age 17, Fred suffered a fractured skull, broken arm, and a broken leg in a motorcycle accident. He was unconscious for 7 days and walked with braces for several months. Because of this incident, he developed extreme fear of hospitals and became prone to fits of rage. Excuse. Fred suffered a further head injury when a girl groped on a fire escape outside the Ledbury Youth Club, punched him, sending him falling to floors.
In 1961, in June, Fred's 13-year-old sister, Kitty, told her mother that Fred had been R-ing her since the previous December, and he got her pregnant. Fred was arrested and freely admitted to the police he had been molesting young girls since his early teens, and asked, "Doesn't everyone just do it?" He was tried on the November 9th. Although disgusted by her son's actions, Fred's mother had been prepared to testify in his defense. Immediately prior to her scheduled testimony, Kitty Chart changed her mind and refused to testify, and the case collapsed. Much of Fred's family disowned him. His mother banished him from the household, and he moved in with his Aunt Violet and Uncle Ernie at Daisy Cottage. By mid 1962, Fred had rekindled with his parents, but not most of his family.
Oh my. That's just crazy.
That is
His
like
childhood
mother.
was just.
What he did, oh, he impregnated his sister. Wow, okay. The marriage
Yeah.
is. Cool.
But I mean, I don't know because
We weren't there.
no, we weren't. But anyways, um,
Explains.
it explains himself somewhat now, more vague than I wanted to know. But so I'm gonna just brief over his first marriage because I mean we don't need
The
to know
second,
all.
yeah, the
This
second
is
marriage is
Well, he
what
would,
counts.
yeah, I was gonna say he was married twice.
well, I
Who was
know,
he
but
married
I'm just
to?
saying like he was married to Catherine first when he was 21. I guess they were already like they were already friends before. So, anyways, that's just his
Uh, She,
first.
she, Charmaine was adopted, right? No, who was the first one?
Charmaine.
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 So
It
she
was
was
his daughter.
and their kid. It said
But
there that
and this is with his first wife.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Um yeah, I mean that's just it. That's part of the first wife.
Yeah. I
I don't know what to say about her.
We can go right to Rosemary.
yeah.
That's Rose. That's Rose.
So
Let's just get into Rose.
that's
I mean,
right.
Yeah.
right?
She's
So
right there.
with Rose, yeah, I see Rose and Fred. Rose and Fred.
Rose and
So
Fred.
I know. So Fred first encountered Rosemary Letts in early 1969, shortly after her 15th birthday. The pair first met while waiting for the same bus in Chettleham. Don't come for me. Initially, Rose was repulsed by the then 27-year-old Fred's unkempt appearance and deduced he was a tramp, but she quickly became flattered by the attention Fred continued to lavish on her over the following days as he invariably sat alongside her at the same bus stop. Ew, so he was like kind of, you know, just,
Yeah.
yeah, that's, he's creeper. So I guess she got quickly became flattered by the attention Fred continued to lavish on her over the following days as he, just that's crazy, right?
It
Um,
is.
Rose twice refused to go on a date with Fred, but allowed him to accompany her home. In their initial conversations, Fred quickly discovered that although Rose had never had a boyfriend, she was overtly promiscuous. He also extracted a degree of sympathy from her by claiming he and his two daughters had been abandoned by his wife and that he wished for more children.
Wow. So, having discovered Rose worked in a nearby bread shop a few days after their first encounter, Fred persuaded an unknown woman to enter the premises and present her with the gift, accompanied by the explanation that a quote unquote man outside had asked her to present this gift to her. So, minutes later, Fred entered the premises and asked Rose to accompany him on a date that evening. She accepted the offer. Shortly, therefore, Rose began a relationship with Fred. So was becoming a frequent visitor at the lake house in the caravan park and willing to childminder to Charmaine and Anna Marie, who noted they were neglected. I don't know why I did that, but anyways, they were neglected and to whom she initially treated with care and affection. So on several occasions in the early days of their courtship, Rose insisted she and Fred take the girls on an excursion to gather wildflowers.
Within weeks of her first meeting Fred, Rose left her job at the bread shop in order to become the nanny to Charmaine and Anna Marie. This decision was made with the agreement that Fred would provide her with significant money to give her parents on Fridays to convince them that she was obtaining a salary at the bread shop. Several months later, Rose introduced Fred to her family, who were, I guess, aghast at their daughter's choice of a partner. Rose's mother, Daisy Letts, was unimpressed with Fred and correctly concluded he was a pathological liar. Her father, Bill Letts, a diagnosed schizophrenic who is believed to have molested his daughter, disapproved of the relationship, threatened Fred directly, and promised to call social services if he continued to date Rose.
Yeah, like 1527.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's, and her parents just didn't, just forbid their daughter from continuing to date Fred, but she defied their wishes, prompting them to visit social services to explain that their 15-year-old daughter was dating an older man, that they had heard rumors that she had begun to engage in um advances. Yeah. But that's just a little brief on, whatever their
Lots of drama there,
relationship.
it sounds like.
It
It is.
is.
That was definitely.
But also, I'll just throw in she did run away from home at
Yeah.
16. So, because she was a troubled teenager, just to let you know.
And she did do prostitution for a while
Mm-hmm.
to help them along.
Yeah.
Yep. Because
But
by all means,
So
whatever.
who did. So who did he schmurder? He schmurdered Charmaine.
No,
No.
no.
Rose is believed to have killed Charmaine before Fred's prison release date of June 24th, 1971.
Yeah, the murders start with 3 months after the West assault trial. The couple committed the first known murder. The victim was 19-year-old named Linda Goff, and with whom Fred and Rose became acquainted through a male lodger in the early 1973. Regularly visited Cornwall Street and engaged in affairs with two male lodgers. Remember, she was prostituting. On 19th of April, she moved into their home on Cromwell on or about April 20th. Other tenants were told that she had been told to leave the household after she hit one of the children. She never left. She was murdered. That was the first one. Well, not the first. He had murdered prior. If there's a lot of them.
There really is. I mean, there's like the
We want to.
one. Oh, which one is that one? Hold on.
Well, I could tell you all about the rest because there is a
Yeah,
lot of murders in here.
There
I was
really
trying to get
is.
some more details on but it looks like there's a lot of words we can't even say on here.
But Heather West was his other child.
Yeah, I see. I see.
You know,
We had Heather West, but he was arrested in May 1992. Fred asked his 13-year-old daughter Louise to bring some bottles to a room on the first floor of their home. Now, Rose was not present in the home at the time. Shortly thereafter, the girl's siblings heard the scream, "No, don't!" Later, Fred returned downstairs. Louise was found by her siblings, writhing in pain, sobbing that her father had raped and sodomized her. At one stage, particularly, her. So when Rose returned home, Louise confided in her mother that she had been raped by Fred. Rose replied, "Oh, well, you were asking for it over the following weeks." Oh my God, I'm having issues. So Louise was,
mm-hmm.
on three further occasions after that with Rose Purtis. So she witnessed the whole thing. She witnessed one of them, before following her distressed, uh,
yeah,
bleeding daughter in the bathroom and asking the child, "Well, what did you expect?" So Fred also filmed one of these grapes, and several weeks later, Louise garnered the courage to confide in a close friend about what her father had done. This friend told her own mother what happened on August 4th. In response, the friend's mother anonymously informed the police.
yeah, that's. I know on August 6, 1992, the police searched the West household on the pretext of searching for stolen property. Although numerous objects of S paraphernalia, including 99 pornographic videos of both homemade and commercial nature, were discovered. Police did not find the video depicting the of Fred's daughter. The 13-year-old made a full statement through a special trained solicitor describing her father's actions. The fact the SA had begun when she was 11 and that her mother had been casually indifferent to her plight. All the children in the household were placed in foster care the following day. Medical examination, like they medically examined her, revealed evidence of physical and SA. This is a house of horrors, by the way.
Yeah,
This is a true house of hell. I'm just going to say that. Like, what
yeah.
he did to his own daughter and her friends and lodgers, he didn't care who they were.
Mm-mm.
He
But
was
I
only
will.
caring about himself.
He did, and when so there, his daughter Anna Marie, when she found out that her dad was awaiting trial, because he was still in Birmingham, that's where they kept him. He denied any of wrongdoing. So, like, he was denying he did anything. So, she contacted the police and to offer a full statement detailing her experience as a child. So, yeah,
It's bad.
and I will say though that this is on a Netflix docu-series, which is very, it's only like 3 episodes, but it does have a lot of the testif- testifying in there and stuff, so you can listen to that more elaborate.
He
Yeah,
had 13 plus victims.
yeah. And I see, they did arrest Rose West. You know,
Mm-hmm.
they
Yes. She
kept
was,
saying, "Oh, we have no knowledge of this, of any of this." But investigators kept pressing on. So Rose was arrested on April 20th, 94, initially on offenses related to, of an 11-year-old, physical assault on a 8-year-old boy, and those charges go all the way back to mid 1970s.
Mm-hmm.
So that following day, she refused bail and transferred to Puckle Church Prison to be held in maximum security wing. Here was questioned more closely about the murders, and particularly those of her daughter, Heather and Linda. And on April 25th, she was formally charged with the, I would say, Gal murders.
yeah. And then by the 6th of May, Fred and Rose were jointly charged with 5 counts of murder, with Rose simply replying, "I'm innocent." Upon hearing each formal charge, a response that proved to be a theme throughout each of the 46 interviews investigators
That's
held with
nuts.
Rose.
46 interviews is freaking insane.
Yeah, and she
Well,
tried
they're
to
going
say
to
she
keep
was
on
innocent.
pressing. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, they're going to get everything out of you. If it's going to take that many times for them to really push, like I would if I was an investigator, I'm
And
like,
her own daughter said she was there. She witnessed some of this.
yeah,
And
But
then
you
she turned it
also
around.
you also have to see that Fred, he offed himself in prison right
Yeah,
at the beginning of their life
true.
terms, and it's like, "Oh, cool, bro. You're leaving me to deal with this by myself, even though, we're in different prisons anyways, but I mean,
And she was part, I hate to say this, I know I'm going to get backlash. She was a victim at 15 too.
yeah,
at
He had
15,
groomed this
yeah.
child.
Oh
He
yeah.
had groomed her to do, you know what I mean, what he wanted as gratification to himself. I'm not saying she's innocent. Don't get me wrong. She
Well,
is
yeah.
not innocent
Hell no.
in this.
so with that, the formal charges of Fred and Rose West were brought before a magistrates, sorry. And is it Gloach? I'm not even going to. I'm sorry, guys, but it happened on their court date was on June 30th, 1994. Fred was charged with 12 murders and Rose was charged with 9. This was the first time the couple had seen each other since Fred's February arrest. Prior to hearing the formal charges against them, Fred leaned toward his wife and gently placed his hand upon her shoulder in response. Rose, having ignored her husband's presence, visibly winced in discomfort. Both were ordered held on remand. Yeah.
Yeah, so as police attempted to lead Fred from the hearing, he resisted and their efforts and again attempted to move towards Rose, who again winced and attempted to wriggle away from his grasp. Can you believe that shit? Anyways, go ahead.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where we're at. So you want to jump in, Tiffany?
Yeah, it's so immediately after this court appearance, Fred was rearrested on suspicion of murdering Anne McFall, whose body had been found on June 7th, but had not been officially identified until this date. He was formally charged with McFall's murder on July 3rd, appearing in court that following morning. Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay. So the initial strict schmooishmide. I don't know. These words are so annoying. So it
The
was a suicide.
initially
It
strict
watched.
suicide watch.
Yeah. Oh, okay. That makes more sense. My brain wasn't braining. Okay, so there was suicide watch. I'm sorry. So we go off we have everything that we write down, and then we just take turns, and there's a lot of information. So anyways, he was on on a watch on
Uh-huh.
January 1st, 95. So Fred West activated himself in his cell by
Asphyxiated.
wrapping an improved rope around had constructed from a blanket and tags he had stolen from prison laundry bags around his neck, then binding his device to a door
Ew.
handle and window catchment and sinking to his knees.
At the bottom of the suicide note found in his cell was a drawing of a gravestone. Within was written, "In loving memory, Fred West, Rose West. Rest in peace when no shadow falls. In perfect peace he waits for Rose, his wife." Ick.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's
So I
crazy.
mean, it's a lot of information, and
It
like you said,
is.
you can always check out the movies or the shows, the documentaries, or if you have a question or you have a comment, just leave it below, and we can have a whole forum about it. Like
I mean, yeah, there's just so much information on it, and it's just so much because you can
It
jump in
is.
different directions through the whole thing as well. Because my mind was too. Um,
I can only imagine what the shorts are gonna sound like on my voice. I'm just like, this happened. This girl was abused. This girl was abused. This girl, and I'm like, oh my god. And then I'm gonna
uh,
go in there and like delete, delete, delete. But I'm so blessed that y'all are watching. Thank you for listening. And I hope you enjoy this True Crime Friday. And you stay good. Don't do anything bad. Okay.
And blessed be. And be nice. Bye.
bye, bye, bye.